Hello and welcome to Avenging Past 7. This is year 2, day 3 of our free-to-play farming guide. And I hope y'all are doing well. We are back to Tuesday. Another episode of Ahsoka comes out tonight. And it's gonna be... it's probably gonna be the best one yet. Each episode I feel like has been better than the last. And so... I think it's gonna be the best one yet. There was an interesting theory thrown out there a couple times. Back before the show came out, and now again with what happened this past week. Which I'm going to talk about today. But before I do, I've been thinking. And y'all... I got a lot of good attention and good comments. I got a lot of good engagement from my Ahsoka video last week. And it has made me want to try to work towards a consistent essay video release. Now, y'all know that I am always talking about plans that I want to do with the channel, and I'm not that good with following through with them. But I do want to do this. And I've wanted to do all the others as well. So, we'll see if I enact that. Last night, I've been thinking through the females in Star Wars video, because I really like that idea, and I like talking about that, and I like, because it's an interesting perspective I don't see a lot of people always take with Star Wars, and the Ahsoka shows just made me really think about, with how many girls the show is focused on. It is a female-driven, female-led show, and I think that's really cool. And it just makes me think back to all the criticism that Star Wars fans were getting for not liking female characters just a couple years ago with the sequel trilogy. And I don't think that those were founded on good faith, because you give us the Ahsoka show, and I just see it getting praise. I just see it getting compliments and people loving the show. And that's a female-driven show. But that's a different video. But this theory comparison, I really like the idea of. The idea is... What am I doing here? I have extra... normal energy. Hold on. I should be able to, yes I can, okay. At the end of Rebels, when Ahsoka appears to Sabine, Ahsoka's wearing a white cloak and holding a staff. At the end of Ahsoka episode 2, when Ahsoka appears to Sabine, she's wearing a much more brown cloak, brown grayish cloak, and not carrying a staff. And both of those scenes are supposedly the same scene. So the theory questions why these two scenes that are supposedly the same scene, just redone in live action, look so different. Dave Filoni was in charge of both scenes. I believe Dave Filoni directed episode 2. So, he was even he was in charge of both scenes, so why are they different? And if I go in more in depth with a video essay on this, I might pull clips. But I've seen Star Wars Theory talk about this multiple times, where Dave Filoni has compared Ahsoka to Gandalf. And Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White. Which we can especially find interesting now, because Is Ahsoka going to come back as Ahsoka the White? Because that could be really cool. They could do some really interesting stuff with that. She could gain, some new force power or new force strengths or new. She could come back with a new understanding of the force and be more prepared to fight Balon than she was before. She could come back with a new lightsaber fighting style that she hasn't used before, that she's more prepared to use now than ever before. And that would be really cool. It would be. It'd be really cool. But I think comparing Ahsoka and Gandalf is really interesting. And it could be a really fun video essay. Because just trying to think through the comparisons between the two, and I don't really. I'd love to delve deeper into that. Because I don't fully understand. Well, I mean, they don't have to be exact copies of each other. But I think Ahsoka does mimic, or does seem like Gandalf sometimes. I mean, when you look at what kind of a character she was in Rebels, she was a Gandalf-like character. She would show up when she was needed most and help the people who were on a journey that she was influencing. And she would help them, save them from whatever trouble they were dealing with, and then go back onto her mysterious ways, her mysterious business that we don't know what she's doing when she's not on screen. And then now she's going through a mission that so like, if Rebels was The Hobbit, now Ahsoka is the Lord of the Rings, and she's much more involved with this journey. And so far through the story, she falls to the big bad guy. This big scary bad guy falls off, trying to save her friends. And just like with Gandalf, she doesn't just die. She doesn't just fall down a chasm. She goes somewhere. And now she's meeting with the Force, supposedly. I still wonder if it's the Son, but let's say it's the Force, it's Anakin. She can learn something. Anakin can teach her something. She can now leave the world between worlds. And instead of wearing a bunch of grayish brown clothes, so a bunch of dark colored clothes, she comes back and she's wearing white. She has changed her character again. She's grown as a character again. Character growth. It's at the center of every good story. I think it'd be awesome if they did that. But then it leads to the question, why is there the difference between Rebels and Ahsoka with that scene with Sabine? I don't know. It could just be the difference between that's what he wanted to happen back then, and now he's looking at the Ahsoka story and seeing how he can implement it and changing things to make it better for the storytelling. Could be that. We'll have to see. It's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun time tonight to see what happens. But I hope that y'all are looking forward to it. And thank you all for the comments and suggestions. Yesterday on yesterday's video, man, yesterday's video got a ton of views out of nowhere. I love it when that happens. Looking at the journey guide, I think pretty much everyone is where they want to be. Bastila Fallen is just, we got to get her collected and then built up, so there's no reason to invest in the rest of them now. So it's just a waiting game on farming up Bastila, which we're not, what is that, 40, 50 shards away? So it's not too bad. And I think everyone's abilities are built up. Yeah, everyone's abilities are where we'd like them. I might take Karth up another. And then I'll have to go through with their mods. But mods will be easy when it's time. So, you know, we're close to Darth Revan. We're close to finishing Phase 5 and moving on to Phase 6. And let's see, with Phase... Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and undo Zam, because we are out of Phase 4 by now. Zam is done. Qui-Gon's done. I can unlock and upgrade these people when I need them. Stark is done. Because we're moving on to the next phase. Alright, T3 is a... Man, T3 is part of Phase 6. I mean, I'm ahead of the curve with that one. So, I mean, we're on to Nihilus and Bastila Fallen. Aurasing is done. So, yeah, I mean, look at that. We're moving on. That's awesome. I mean, Darth Trey, I mean, Phase 6, I don't know how close we are to being done with that already, but I think we might be a little bit of ways once we move into that one. But yeah, it's going well. And we'll have to see how Grand Arena goes. I do have all 3 accounts signed up. I did make sure about that. I have updated the rosters as I've done some upgrades and stuff. Oh, big good announcement. The main account has now passed 4 million GP. So, whenever Proving Ground comes around again, the main account will be able to be a part of that. So that's exciting. I've been getting closer to it consistently the past few weeks, and I've been trying to watch to see what I can do to get there. And I finally thought, well, let me just go through and see what ship I can unlock. And I found a ship, I don't even remember. I think it was the First Order ship with Kylo Ren and I think Phasma on it. And it unlocking and building that up and leveling that up got me past 4 million. So I'm now past 4 million. So I'm excited about that. But with all that said, y'all have a fantastic day. And as always, may the Force be with you.